General Conversation Podcast. I'm Valerie.
This is Cord.
And welcome to Season 2, Episode 1. Please be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, share, comment, subscribe. You can listen to you can listen to us on your favorite station. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts. Also, we're on Teespring. You got anything you want to update the people with, Cordelia?
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, today we are doing a women's panel, and we have 3 lovely guests here today. So I'm gonna start myself off. I'm one of the people, so it's gonna be 4 women, and Cordero, of course. And so I'm gonna say
the reigning champ.
I'm gonna say my name. So the thing is gonna go like this: our name, our age, and then our relationship status. And then if you like, and I already informed the ladies on how they can do that. And then we're gonna go. We have some questions already pre-selected questions that different men have sent in. I guess they want to know, ladies, what's up? So we can go ahead and answer some of those, and you're gonna get the honest approach, honest opinion if guys want to know, and women for a fact, and women if you agree. You want to comment down below, you can all feel free to do that. So I'm Valerie. I'm one half of the General Conversation Podcast. And I am in my 30s. That's all y'all need to know. I just had a birthday. Whoop, whoop, Aquarius. And I've never been married. So I'm single. And we're going to go with that. And my sister Brittany is here. So go ahead, girl.
Good. Okay, you said my name, Brittany.
Are you going to say your name?
I was going to say Brittany.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't have to say your name. Let me say.
I'm Britt. I'm 29 and I'm single.
Okay.
My name is Teresa. I am 59. I just got out of a long-term relationship and I'm ready for the questions.
Look, she's came in all sweet. My name is Teresa. And let me just tell you, wearing that age, honey, I'm loving it.
Thank you.
My name is Aisha, and I'm in my 30s, and I'm single, never been married.
Okay.
I'm Cord. I'm the other half of the podcast. You already know.
Why we asking you? He trying to do a dating profile. He's like, actually,
I'm 5'7", 5, 6 on a good, depending on what day you catch me. Single, never married, no kids. That's about it.
You gotta say that these days.
Yeah, you have no kids. Look, none of us said anything about kids. I thought you trying to get married.
My number, my
many ladies out there listening.
My number is listen.
Look, I got my old car, my old
right?
Go ahead, tell people they want to hear.
I'm not. So these are the lovely ladies we have. Of course, Cordero's gonna, I guess, go ahead and
I'm gonna ask
go
the
through
questions.
some of the questions.
All right. We're going to start off with question number 1. What is it do women really want? Do they know what they want or do they know what they need? Just the general.
That's a very general question.
Are we going like
And I see your eyes came right over here. So I will be glad to address that.
Well, go ahead. This is Miss Teresa.
What is it that women really want?
Mm-hmm.
We want a man that's going to be a man to his word. Number 1.
Y'all doing all that clapping.
We want a man that's going to be honest.
Okay.
We want a man that's going to be a man. We don't want no mama's boy. We don't want somebody who's trifling, who can't hold their own. And we want somebody we can depend on. A strong man.
Okay, I'm going to say you for last next time. I feel like they go, I'm going to say everyone last because I really want to.
that.
Exactly. I don't want you to co-sign. I want to hear your opinion. I want you to co-sign. I want no co-signing. All right, Valerie is who started.
Well, I second everything she said.
I'm definitely saying you for last now.
No, but I think when you're trying to, when she said what do women want, I'll take the second part when say, do they really know? Clearly we do. I think there are some women who probably don't know themselves yet, or they've been in bad relationships, so it's kind of hard to know what it is that they need to fit into that category. But for the most part, I mean, I hate to sound so stereotypical, but women do want to feel protected, whoever they're with. I'm not saying you got to come in here like, oh man, you woman. You don't have to do all that. But we do like a sense of like security. And so I would say that women want security. And I think that was what Teresa was saying. She touched on those things. But yes, I think we do want that. Most of us, we were all older, like you said, 20, 30s, and 59. We know what we want. You know what I'm saying? We know what we want. Now, I'm not saying because you older, or like you didn't live, but most times you done went through relationships, you kind of feel like, okay, when you meet a guy, you start talking to him, his conversation sounds good, and then maybe after a while, you're like, okay, he breaking promises. Then it's kind of like you start falling off. Like maybe you had the interest in the beginning, but now it's like all the stuff you was telling us sounded good. We was like, our ears perked up. We was like a little dog, like, okay. And then your words stop matching your actions, and then we kind of fell off and start thinking like, it's not worth it. So I think we know what we want, but sometimes I feel like we will settle because we thinking like he done told us he gonna do this and that, and then I feel like maybe we go in with a game plan, ladies, and then after a while we kind of like, well, it's lonely Friday night. I'm a girl going out, and you kind of feel like,
Yeah, that's true.
you kind of feel like you don't know what's going on. Okay, they tell me to shut up, so I guess I'm
Who wants to go next? Aisha? I'm sorry.
Okay, well, to speak to that, I think that we want consistency. Yeah, we want consistency. I mean, if you're telling me all this great stuff in the beginning, I think guys do that a lot because they know that's how you get the girl, but then you got to keep up with that. Mm-hmm. Like, if you were saying, okay, I'm going to call you at this time, and you do that, and you do that consistently, okay, I know that you're dependable. I know that if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And then if you start to kind of fall off, then you're inconsistent. And to me, I'm just like, okay, well.
In other words,
man
needs to be a man of his word.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Be
and
a
women
man to
want to
your
be
word.
respected.
Yeah,
because that's the thing that gets me is once you start being inconsistent, once you start, I won't say lying, but not necessarily telling the truth, then to me, I feel like, okay, you don't respect me anymore. So then I'm gone. That's it for me.
Okay. Brittany?
As the baby of this, all I have to say is that I'm gonna approach this from like a human to human like perspective, right? Okay. I just feel like if you meet any person, whether it's you're trying to be intimate or not, whatever kind of relationship it is, there is a kind of expectation of that relationship, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you're honest about the expectation, and then that person knows where you stand, I think people, that's what they're talking about, consistency. Like you come into something knowing what you're expecting in that relationship, and then when the person treats the relationship as if the expectation is not being met, then it makes you feel, is this relationship worth it? Mm-hmm. So I think that can go for anything. Now, what do they need versus what do they want is depending on the person, right?
Yeah. That's very true.
All right. So question number 2 is it harder for women to get a man, or is it harder for women to keep one?
It's harder to keep one because it's just like you said. Because I mean, especially in like Atlanta, dudes are everywhere.
Right.
I mean, if you don't have any kind of like standards or whatever, like, and you just want one, you can go anywhere and just get one. Like, I mean, even me and you've had that conversation where it's just like, dudes ain't got no standards. Dudes don't care sometimes. Like, they have no standards whatsoever when it comes to certain things. But like, keeping one, yes, that's a little bit harder because then again, just like how men have to be consistent, so do women.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we still have to, it's a 50-50 thing. If you're in a partnership, it's a partnership. Everything can't just be based on the man and him making sure that the spark stays alive, because you're in the relationship too. So you have to also try to at least meet him halfway. Now, if he's just a dog and he out here in these streets, I mean, that's just, completely different. Then at that point, it don't really matter what you do because a dog is a dog, right? Gotcha. But I mean, I think it's harder to maintain anything. I think honestly that goes for everything in life. Some things are real easy to get, but it's real hard to kind of, I mean, even just like with marriage, people will tell you all the time, people get ready for a wedding. They're not ready for a marriage because a marriage is work and people don't really talk about that part of it. And a relationship is work. Everybody wants to be in a relationship, but then you get in them. It's like, oh, bruh, man, like, get your shoes off the table. What you doing, bruh? Like, I don't even like this. Why is there, like, tea bags everywhere and stuff? Like, yo, like, you know that I don't appreciate this. Why are you doing this? Like, it's hard to maintain that kind of stuff.
I second it. Yeah, I agree with everything she said. I would say it's definitely harder. Like men are everywhere, but I think the commitment part is maybe what that question might be about. Like, is it hard to get a man to commit to only you? Because you'll get a man, he like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just want to be free. I don't even believe in titles. What's a title?
Oh my God.
You like, what's a
Yes.
title? Mr. Mrs. Title to your car. It's a lot of titles, sir.
We call that slick nigga game.
Right.
You got them
But
slick
if you
niggas on you.
get a right guy, a right guy, you guys get into a relationship. Yeah. Even when you match on everything, in the beginning they say it's like the honeymoon phase because everything. It's like he's so funny because he just got all these crazy jokes, and he just gets me. And he listening, he's attentive, and then after a while, somewhere in a relationship, whether it's just relationship or marriage, things start to fade because people get comfortable. And so I think you have to find new ways to spice it up. And because I want to respect my other peers, I'm gonna share the next.
Let me get that card from you one time, if you don't mind.
Well, listen, the question is it harder for a woman to get a man? First of all, a woman don't go after a man. According to the Bible, now it said a man who chooses a wife or a girl, it's a good
It's a
thing.
good thing.
So actually, a woman shouldn't be out there looking to try to get a man. And I tell people this all the time. You don't have to go looking for nothing. If it's for you, you're going to get it. And if the guy is interested in you, he'll come to you. You don't have to dress some kind of way. You don't have to hang out some kind of way or do certain things to try to attract a man. Be yourself, and if that man is for you, he'll come to you. So is it harder for a woman to get a man? She shouldn't even be trying to get one. Now, once she get one, she should know how to keep him. But as far as a woman to get a man, there's nothing for it.
Okay. We got one more person?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll speak on the keep one part.
Okay.
I think anything worth, like anything that you have to put work
Sorry,
in.
you guys, not to interrupt. That was Teresa that said the last
I'm
statement.
sorry.
That is Brittany.
Yeah, we're supposed to
that's
say our
good.
name so we'll know who they're talking to. Who's talking. Okay,
So
you
now
right.
this is Brittany talking.
Okay, so I was just saying, I think anything that you have to put work in, that you have to build, is going to take some type of accountability, some type of messiness to get to the part of something that you build that lasts long. But speaking like biblically, like keeping one, in the case I guess that women often think of keeping a man, I think if he's gonna cheat, I ain't nothing you can do about that. Like if he already has a heart to do that, how you gonna keep someone who's ready to do that? That's him. That's his issue. Now I think we work on something together, but you are accountable to yourself to keep yourself, in a place of mentally not going there to cheat or whatever. Like is she doing what she needs to do so I don't cheat? I think that's your issue, not the person on either side.
Alright, so we're going to move on. Have you ever self-sabotaged a relationship? Have you ever self-sabotaged a relationship directly or indirectly? Because everybody's kind of quiet. That question come from...
Wait, you ain't got to finish. She said she
Oh,
this
okay.
Brittany.
Okay.
Ask the baby if this.
So that's how runner can
That's
ask the
how you
baby.
know.
Sure, just like that.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever. I honestly can say I've never been in a relationship for real. So I haven't had that kind of experience of self-sabotaging like a relationship with a boy or a man. But I think just with my sister, they tell me that sometimes that I'm hard on the people that I love. So I think sometimes I can be my expectations can be so high that I end up causing distance between the person that I love. So I think in those things that you do unintentionally, maybe they're not
Indirectly.
Yeah, they're indirectly sabotaging the relationship, or not. It's not really sabotage because you're not doing it on purpose, but still.
But it is kind of sabotage because it said directly or indirectly. So maybe you don't realize that you're doing it, but it's just like, hey.
Yeah. But I think that's just those like little things that you need to edify each other with. Like you need somebody to be like, oh, hey, do you know that you do this, and you got to sit on it. Like, do I do that? Right?
Yeah.
And there's some accountability you need to take. Like, like when you told me, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. Go ahead.
So I have a question to you. So it's kind of with this question. Do you think that when you meet a guy, regardless of how you look at it, do you think because you already got these blockers on, do you think you would even get some do you think you like sabotage a conversation with a guy like without knowing it? Yeah.
Oh, I definitely will stop something in its tracks if I
He
can
like,
see
man,
it.
you beautiful.
No, seriously. If somebody comes to me, I'm very discerning, and I can see like you. There's an agenda that you're trying to get to, and I read it. I'm gonna address the agenda, and if you not coming with anything past the agenda, then it's a wrap. That's just me personally.
You know, there ain't no nothing like start the way you blinking is wrong.
All right.
Tell by the way you blink that you don't have no respect. Nah, it ain't that deep, but you know what I mean.
All right. You want to go?
Yeah, I'll say that. Actually, I don't even know if I can. Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
No, I've never self-sabotaged. No.
Miss Teresa?
Do I sabotage? I'm sorry.
No, the question is,
Ma'am, do not check out.
have you ever
Self-sabotage a
self-sabotaged
relationship?
directly or indirectly?
Not a relationship, but like Brittany said, if you see somebody coming wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta just stop them.
Mm.
you just gotta stop them. Like sometimes guys just don't have respect for women anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you call somebody a B word?
Mm.
Why would you just say, "Hey, girl"? You can't do that. Cut it.
Yeah.
Don't just approach me at the first time and ask me for my phone number. Why?
I got a question. I got a question. All right. So how would you? I'm asking. What's the proper
What
way?
is a respectful way?
Yeah. What's the proper way for a dude to respect you? What will get you to respond?
This Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation you have to bring some kind of intellect to the conversation. Okay, you have to sound like you know what you're talking about, even if you're lying. At first, at least try to make me seem like you're an interesting person.
Okay.
If your conversation just doesn't sound right, I am totally turned off. No, you will not get my phone number because this ain't going nowhere.
So like, hey, how you doing? Or like, what's the?
He wanna.
Hey,
what
No,
am I
because
wearing?
this I'm detailed. What is your?
Hey girl, you look so fine. Can I pump your gas? No.
That's bad.
You need to pay for my gas.
Oh,
I can pump
And
that gas. Okay. So no conversation. To me, that's weak.
that's the maturity.
Okay.
on
That's
her.
very weak.
That's what I'm asking.
But
Like,
no, I think,
what's-
yeah, that is mature. But I think that's a valid. So this is valid. That's a fact.
I'm trying to write down
valid
game right
question.
now. What's the?
Like,
what's the proper
like
way?
for me, she said, "Come and correct, have a conversation." For me, making me laugh, especially like if I know I have this. I guess people call it resting bitch face. And sometimes I be thinking, and like I've had guys come up to me and be like, "This don't make it. Why this line this long?" And that's how I be. That's what I be thinking about. Like, let's say I'm in the grocery store and somebody be like, "No, why is she coming over there? Look at this line. Somebody come here." And I just bust out laughing, and then they'll start talking like that. And so for me, if you can make me laugh, now that don't mean you gonna get my number, but at least embrace the attention. Because I think I be looking so. I be thinking I be all in my head. I'm a planner, so I'm always all in my head. So you can kind of give me the giggle about something, especially something that's so trivial. I'm like, oh, okay. I might at least turn back and look at you and be like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, oh, all right.
Now, see, I've had people to ask me all the time, "Why you look so mad?"
No, not that. I hate that. No,
Why
I
am
mean,
I
you
gonna
know,
stand in the line and start laughing to myself? Am I crazy? Man, stop. That's just not a good one. You like, you really?
They act like women just like,
Right. You're like, why you look so mad?
You start laughing out of nowhere, like, oh, okay, she's crazy. I'm
Exactly.
gonna ease on.
I think that's also because men, and to a certain extent, a lot of women, but especially men, have been conditioned to think that women are here for them, and
Yeah.
we're here to please them, and we're here to look pleasing to them.
Right.
And so when
It
we're not
works.
walking around smiling, they're just like, "What's wrong with you? Why aren't you smiling? Nothing's wrong with me. Do I know you?
right,
I'm sorry. Who are you?
right,
I was minding my own business."
right.
All right, well,
Like we are under no obligation to always
Right.
look pretty and have our hair done and be,
Right.
"Oh hi, how are you? What's your name?" Like, no, that's not real life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I
We
got a
did
good
not
one.
wake up like this. Okay,
I got a good one. I knew he was gonna come through. That's my boy. So, now you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
You related to him.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer this question.
Yeah, you probably did shit. As a black woman, do you feel that there is truly a serious divide between black men and women, and what can black men do to help bridge this gap?
Yes.
Go ahead, expand.
Sorry, this is Aisha. Yes.
If you need to see the question again, I have it here.
There is a divide, but I think it's because of one miscommunication. I think that's really the biggest thing is we have a miscommunication, and we get to a point where we start to try to play the oppression Olympics.
Yeah.
And it's just like, listen, you know what? There are certain things that I'm going to go through as a black woman that you are never going to understand because you're not a black woman. There are oppressions you're going to go through as a black man that I'm just not going to get because I'm not a black man. That's not my reality. That's not the life that I have to live every day. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't come together and help each other and support each other. It's like, okay, you had a crappy day, I had a crappy day. How can we make this better together? It doesn't always have to be an argument or an issue. Or a lot of black women feel like, you know, black men, you know, they have the whole trope where they're married to their black wife and then they get famous and then if they leave their black wife for a white woman, you know, and that's a whole thing. And people really feel like that's what really happens. And it's like, okay, that does happen sometimes. But again, I think that's a miscommunication because for every, you know, black man who gets big, who leaves his wife, there's another one who gets big, who stays with his wife, you know, who is there and is a father and is, you know, part of his family and will never leave his family. But that's not what we see, you know, so because we don't see that and we only ever see this one narrative, black women are just like, oh, you know, you guys just want us until you get some money and then you're gone. And then, you know, black men also have this whole narrative where they feel like, oh, well, black women, they all just want money. And if I don't have it, you're going to go get it from...
Angry.
Right. They think we're super angry all the time, which I'm like, well, we have things to be angry about.
Right.
But that's a whole nother podcast. But, you know, they think that black women are angry or that we just want money and that we feel like they can't do anything for us, so we'll go and run to, like, a white dude. You know, and they get so upset if they ever see us with anybody, like, outside our race. And it's just like, I mean, at the same time, when black women are the ones who are mostly going to school and seeking higher education, and black men can't be there, not because they don't want to be there, but because they get caught up in things that happen because they're black men. You know, they're at the wrong place, wrong time. The police see you and all they see is your color. And the next thing you know, you're behind bars for something that you never did, you know, just because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then you get out, you can't go to no school, you can't get no job. So you have to live a whole separate life from a black woman who would love you, but she'll never meet you because she's in college. And the only people that she meets in college are white dudes. Because they don't have those same struggles.
No. When you tell it, you tell it. That was very well said. I agree with everything you said. This is Valerie. So the question about is there a divide between black women and black men? I think yes, and I think a lot of times it's just like we both angry. I'm just gonna keep it real, just plain. I think we're both angry about different things. And I think sometimes it's hard to relate because society has it that we're so separated. And I feel that sometimes if we bridge the gap of like, you know how they say like the brown struggle is the black struggle. You know, we not the same as far as color-wise or culturally maybe even, but because we go through oppression, we kind of can feel that together. But everybody want to hold on to, like you said, the oppression game. Like it's so bad for us. It's like, why don't we come together and work some stuff out? Because look, I'm tired of being mad and angry about whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said when you get for a guy to get my attention, half the time you gotta make me laugh when I'm halfway looking. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm trying to lighten up low. It's a lot of little heavy things going on. Not only just on the outside, but within personally, that I'm just trying to work through. So you coming with all your baggage, sometimes it's like, wait a minute, brother, I hear you. And it's like black women are expected to like, come rub your back and come do this. I'm like, okay, well, and I'm not even gonna say, can you come rub my back? Let's just, before we rub anything, let's just like take a moment and like let's start off slow. You know, and I understand that there's a lot of things going on both sides. And what can black men do? Was the second part of that question. Well, if you really are trying to step to a woman, step to her correctly. You know, ask her how her day is going. And if she's not trying to hear that or not receiving you, brother, it's okay. You started nicely, ask her how her day was, and she rolled her eyes, and y'all have no kind of conversation, just walk away. She ain't gotta be no bitch, no this and that. You don't know what that woman done went through that day. And I think sometimes you never know what somebody's going through. And so I feel like, since this question is saying, what can black men do? be open to us. You know, be open to us. You know, it's funny, and I'm just gonna say this small little thing. I saw this lady trying to order some food, and she was getting to it with this other older lady about the food, right? And it was a brother there, and I liked how the brother was like, he had to intervene. He didn't know either two women, but he was able to step in and kind of be like, hey, because they were not communicating properly. And he kind of he took the lead and kind of just narrated for them and made things go smoothly. And I just like, that's what we want. And also, too, sometimes we don't want to be sexualized. If you say, hey, just say, hey. If you see something, you look nice today, sister. That's all. I had people do that to me.
Yeah.
I will say by the time they were older, so they had a little bit of maturity about them. But sister, I like that your hair's natural. And I just want to tell you that. And walk off. And I'll be like, hey, your hair. Not like, oh, your shape's so good. And oh, you look so thick. And where you going? You got a man. You ain't got a ring. It's like, okay, sometimes just a compliment will do and go on. And that's what you can do right that day and leave it alone. If we want you, we know how to walk up to you and get you. Ain't no woman scared of trying to, I know women ain't supposed to talk to men, but no woman is going to be like, well, that was nice. I like that he did that. And that'll kind of stay with us. So that's what I say. Uplift your black woman.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anybody?
Miss Teresa, Brittany.
Yeah, I don't want to
Brittany?
repeat the same thing. That was good.
That was good. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think boils down to like communication, right? Depending on the kind of girl, what kind of way you communicate to her is important, and also patience in the communication because you don't know how that person's going to respond. But I think when you genuinely want to try to get to know a person and learn about a person, it's going to come off, and the person is going to respond accordingly.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
All right. So the next question: have you ever let someone go that you wish you held on to? What would you have done differently?
No.
All right.
Nah. If I let you go, that's that.
All right. Is that this general? No.
No, I know for me, I'm never.
Yeah, but I was younger.
Let's
I
get to
did-
it. Let's get to it. That's what we talking about. We got a young audience too, so
I mean,
it's about lessons learned. If we're gonna say that.
Why was it somebody that stuck in your mind that you felt like you shouldn't have let him go?
it was someone I dated, and he left and went into the military.
Okay.
And I think had I waited a little bit longer, even though it wasn't said out loud, wait for me.
Mm-hmm.
After a year or two, I kind of like moved on with my life. And I think had I held on long enough, it would have been different. Because he came back looking for me and I was gone.
Okay.
So I think had I waited a little bit longer, things would have been different.
Do you think that you missed out because you didn't wait, or are you happy with your decision to move on because
I
you
never
just
know.
say, yeah.
I don't know because I don't know how it was going to turn out. But I just felt deep in my heart that I should have waited. But
Okay.
because it wasn't spoken out loud, wait for me,
Mm-hmm.
I moved on. I mean, because you don't know.
right.
And you're not going to sit back and say, okay, what if he come back for me? Or what if he doesn't come back for me? You can't just put your life on hold.
Yeah,
So-
I agree with that
That's
because a
fair.
lot of this, like, well, it was implied. No, some things you need to say.
Right.
But
And
now
like
you
I
didn't
said, I
want
was
to
gotta be
younger,
real clear
and I
about.
didn't know. And then he was like, well, I don't want to hold
Right.
you up because I don't know what it's going to be like for me.
Right.
But when he came back, then, of course, I was gone. And it was like 6 months too late. I was like, ugh.
All right, that's fair. That's
But
fair.
I don't know. I mean,
Right,
I
that's
don't know
fair.
how it was going to turn out. I
And-
just kind of wish I had waited.
Is that person like? Is
Do
it
we need to
done?
send a shout out?
Hmm?
Do we need to send a shout out?
No, no.
I'm about to say, y'all better stop.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, that's been
That's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna drop
Okay.
it. We're gonna drop it.
35 years.
Okay,
Yeah, so that was a
okay.
So, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
that's not-
I'm just-
no,
Missed
no.
opportunity is all I'm saying. We're gonna go to the next question. I think you wanna do this one here? All right. Have you ever been at fault and taken full accountability with no buts attached to it?
Ooh, let me get that wine now.
Full accountability. Full accountability.
Okay, you get the wine. This is Valerie. I answer that. Yes, I have. And I'm taking full accountability because I'm just gonna say this. Like, I'm a grown A woman, and I respected what the situation was at the time. Do I need to elaborate what it was?
And you can if you want to. This is a question that, you know.
Okay, so I had a long-term boyfriend. And I had, I have male friends. And one of my male friends is very flirtatious, always like flirting. And I never reply really. Like, I just overlook whatever he's saying. And so I ended up leaving my phone in my boyfriend's car at the time. And I realized I left a phone, called the phone, he answered, I went and got the phone. And back then, which I have now, but I just think it's cool. I have a lock on my phone because it's fingerprint. But anyway, that's not the point. Anyway, I didn't have a lock on my phone. So, he saw the text messages. And he was like, so at the time he gave my phone, then he called me. He was like, yeah, so I saw your friend and y'all was texting.
So he saw several messages?
He saw the text message that my friend,
Just
my guy
one
friend.
message or more?
I don't remember. It probably was more than
He
one
saw the
message.
thread?
No, yeah, it wasn't like different days. It probably was that day. And like, hey girl, what my friend would say stupid shit like, what you got on? I'd be like, clothes or potato sack on.
That
Or I
kind
wear
of
a fly.
message. Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyway, the point of it is when he said, that that his feelings were hurt and he felt disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
I took accountability because I was like, because the first I was like, well, you saw the messages. What did I say back? He was like, nothing. I was like, exactly. He was like, that's the point. You didn't say nothing. You didn't say, hey, I got a boyfriend. Why you sending me these messages? And I was like, okay, I received it. And so with no BS attached to it, and I didn't say, well, let me see your phone. I didn't have to do all that. I understood where he was coming from, and I was like, you know what, it won't happen again, and I respect that. And so, you know what, I was telling this conversation to somebody, and they was like, what? He should have. No, he acted because I did it. It was I respected it. I said, you know what, you're right. I apologize. It won't happen again, and it didn't. But I think we were both mature in that situation. But like for me, when I'm wrong, I don't have any problem saying that I'm sorry or your feelings are hurt.
Right.
I don't have a problem with doing that. That's not a problem.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? Just me.
No,
like
I
these
think this is Teresa. That is way too much.
Just split it. Don't worry. What is that?
This is Teresa saying. Actually, I think women are more easier to say I'm sorry than men. And why, I don't know, because if men do something wrong, why can't you just say I'm sorry? Don't do it again, but why can't you say I'm sorry and mean it? And I think women just easier to say I'm sorry, let's move on.
I think that's true. But I also think as women, we're brought up to respect other people and to kind of see when we have been wrong and just be like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. Let's move on from this. Not just in relationships, but just like with, people. I mean, if you bump into somebody at the store, 9 times out of 10, both women will be like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You bumped into I'm sorry, girl. You okay? Like,
Right.
But dudes are just like, okay, you didn't step on my shoes, and they just keep on going. Like, like, as long as my, Nikes are okay, we're okay. Like, I'm not gonna say, okay, I didn't take full accountability because it wasn't all my fault. It was a misunderstanding that ended up happening, and it was a miscommunication on both of our parts, and both of us apologized, and we moved on from there. So I took accountability for my part in it, but I can't say I took full accountability because it wasn't all my fault. But yeah.
Okay.
I think women, just to add to that, this is Teresa. I think women usually are more forgiving because we were taught to be submissive. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a part of us always saying that I'm sorry first. Because it's just a part of being submissive. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what that's my opinion. We are so used to, we're more caring. We just reach out more, and I think it's in our DNA as women.
That's sad to think of it in that terms because the best leader is the one who knows how to lead in the things you want the person to show, right? So if you want that person to take accountability, that's something that you should be first in.
What about the thing is
in that way.
Nah, well, yeah.
Like you know, okay, let me bring it to a spiritual level. Like, you know, you think about, I don't know, you know, anybody else's religion, but in Christianity, right? Like, Jesus is always the one who leads in something. And then we are the one that learns how to do something through his leadership, right? So as he does, that is how we learn to do it. And so, and from that leadership position, there's something in someone who knows how to lead and knows how to have those characteristics that you want in a relationship, that you're willing to kind of also learn from them and follow along. And so for me, I think I'm always learning more from people who, from their example, I'm like, oh, that's what that looks like. Then I feel like I can.
So do you think that you're saying by the woman being more emotional, do you think that it shows a man how to be more in tune with his feelings, to be like, oh, okay, that's what sorry looks like. That's what accountability looks like. Is that what you're saying?
She said women are
Submissive.
more submissive, and so we know how to say sorry because we're used to being like sorry, maybe, you know. And then I was like, oh, that's so sad because, you know.
Because there's a fine line between being submissive and being a doormat.
Yeah, and then I guess I don't necessarily think sorry, which maybe is one of the issues, that sorry equals a submissive thing, but that might be why someone doesn't say sorry, right? Like, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be the one under you right now, right? But if you ain't got that kind of fear that this makes me submissive, when you know that this is also part of leadership, you can easily say sorry, because everybody does something that offends somebody, does something wrong, and the person that knows how to stand up and say, okay, that was me,
take accountability.
That's like, you know what I mean? That shows you how to, for me, that shows you.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I'm just saying, I just responded to what she said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad
But you know, there was a study done that's saying that women tend to, and I think from her point of view, maybe, is that, like, even when Aisha gave this statement, she was like, when women bump into each other and anything, oh, I'm sorry. We do. I'm telling you, you can count how many times you say a sorry in a day, and I do it a lot. Even if I don't necessarily mean sorry, like sometimes it's like, oh, I'm sorry, like I'm coming in the bathroom, I'm like somebody with the door, I am sorry. But like say, if somebody can do something, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm like, even though it was them, as women, I'm not supposed to speak for me, I do it, it's just kind of like a default thing.
Yeah.
And I think, and there was a study done that women tend to do that, especially like in corporate fields, and then they wonder, like they say, well, you know, or why women shouldn't, well not should, but like there's not more women in like top cutthroat positions, and they like, you have to be. Now I don't know if that has any merit to it or not, because I think saying sorry, and I agree with you, I do think saying sorry doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means like, oh, I acknowledge you, and you know, I don't mean anything about it. It's kind of like, oh, my bad. It's kind of like saying that, like, oh, I almost got you, girl. It's kind of like that with the door, like, I almost hit you. We good. It's kind of like that. It's more of like a passing instead of like, I'm sorry, look at me, woe is me. As far as men, I guess we would have to have the men panel to see how that really makes them feel, because I would want to know.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I've seen men bump into each other, and some of, and I have to say,
Oh.
well, this is about the women's panel first.
I think it's valuable though.
But no, let's see. But you know, I've seen men bump each other and they're like, depending on who it is and how they feel, they're like, oh, all right, brother. They don't even say sorry. They're like, all right, brother. I'm like, sorry does not come out their mouth. So I'm like, why do men feel like y'all can be like, oh, okay, my bad, I'm sorry.
First, I did want to get Teresa, did you have anything to add before I go? No?
He's about taking it out.
All right, so I think that's where you got to find the difference between men and boys, first of all.
Well,
if you're going to build a relationship, and, you know, we kind of got the traditional thing is men's supposed to lead the relationship. We all heard that or whatever, right? And I think the thing is lead by example. If you can't take accountability for what you're doing, how you expect her to take accountability for what you're doing, for what she's doing?
and I think
So-
that was kind of what my sister was saying.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that's between a boy or a young man or whatever. We always try to find, well, you did this and you did this, and yada 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 yada. And I think first you should probably acknowledge what you did. Hey,
So that boy mentality. Because
Okay,
you can be,
you can be
50
grown.
years old.
You can
Okay.
be grown.
We'll
Still be a boy.
We'll call it that, boy mentality. But I think you should acknowledge first, okay, this is what I did. you know, my bad, I'm sorry, whatever. However your method of apologizing is, as long as it's sincere. Then you be like, hey, but I, like a lot of men want to know that women are able to take accountability for their actions. And before you, because just before you
see these eyes
bro,
of
I'm
that.
about to bite my head off because there's a lot of women out there who don't. That's just simple. There are a lot of people who don't. Well, you shouldn't have did this to me. Like I had a situation. We talked about that,
Right.
where it was, well, maybe you shouldn't have said that to her. But what? You know, nobody said that how disrespectful she was.
No, I did.
No,
But
but you're not the one. I told her what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So, but I think that's the difference between men and women. If you're gonna be the type of dude to come in and be like, hey, I want to lead the relationship and da da da, you have to first take accountability for what you're doing. If you're going to be the one to take charge like that, you got to be responsible for your
Not to
actions.
get into that conversation too deep, because I think we could elaborate on that even more. But the person who was saying like, "Oh, you did this only to her," wasn't able to. Probably had a skewed mindset of how a man should treat a woman, even when the woman's wrong, and they're wrong. They're wrong. When someone does something, it's a natural reaction for somebody to react. That's just what it is. Now, how you react, you know, you got to dissect that. So you reacted because what she did to you, but like I said, it was some things that you said that I was like, or that you told me, and I was like, okay, yeah, you gotta check that. But yeah, she was dead wrong. She was dead wrong. But
Okay,
Alright.
so that sounds like y'all just got off the beaten path.
yeah, I brought it back. I'm sorry, because I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm saying she was hold on.
Don't make me.
Move along, okay?
It's flash it when you need to, please.
Okay.
We're gonna move on. I'm gonna let you read one.
Okay. When was the time? Okay. When was the time you have taken things too far? What do they mean by that?
Yeah.
We can talk about the whole baby mama drama type thing, or we can talk about, you know.
No, I need it more general, because, like, what I mean in relationships, like,
Yeah,
when
well,
you
yeah.
kind of, like, taking too far is what? Because I think that's...
We can call it that.
Okay, no, you know what?
We talking about
I'm gonna scratch that. I'm gonna scratch that conversation, and it might bridge into one.
Okay.
I'll scratch that question because it might bridge into this one. Cordell, you actually wrote this question down. We're gonna go straight to this one. Why are you petty?
Yeah, why you petty?
Anybody want to jump in on that? If I do,
I think that depends on the woman. That really depends on the person, because there are some women that will never. They don't have time.
This is not issue
if they
talking.
get to the point where it's even like they feel like they have to be petty, they'll be done. Because there's no point in that. Like, then it's not really like a relationship. Now we just like kids playing. No one has really like time for that. Other women will be like, oh no, I'm about to tell all your business to everybody. I'm putting this on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Everybody's gonna know everything about this one thing that I know super bothers you or super embarrasses you because I want to be petty. So I think that it really depends on the person. Because some dudes can be petty.
Yeah, no doubt.
Question. Is that a general question to all of us? Why are we petty as women?
That was my personal question. I told you I said from the beginning, that was my personal one. Had to slip mine in there.
I never hurt you, baby. I never hurt you. Teresa, you wanted to say something? That was our issue. Right. That's like saying why
Okay,
y'all cheating.
you know what Teresa is speaking. You said, why are you petty?
Ooh, I'm ready for this. Ooh, I'm ready
Take
my
a sip.
whole life.
Take your
Take my
food.
sip. Oh. What do you think you're petty? I'm sorry. Right. I'm ready to listen.
No, you really need to expand on this, because my question is, why are you petty? Are you talking just women, or are you talking women and men, or just people in general?
Well, since it's the woman panel, I'm gonna direct it to women.
Men are petty too.
Yeah, I believe. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Men can be.
I'm not
petty.
disagreeing with you at all.
Okay.
But since it's the women's panel, I'm gonna direct the question to the
Can we
women.
change the question to, have you been petty? And then why were you petty?
Okay.
Oh, that's.
I
I plead the fifth.
That's more.
Yeah, one drop out. Okay.
I guess we could use that for your man panel when you have, because it is so general, and it's like, and I know you were talking to women because that's what this conversation is about, but it's like, that's why I make a joke, but I'm like, who have hurt you? Because it's like, you had to have that, to state that question at all makes you generalize that you think somewhere deep down all women are petty.
So were you talking about something particular when you say talking about relationship? Or you talking about?
Well, yeah, relationship. We'll go relationship, since this is pretty much the main talk with relationships.
What girl you want to talk to right
See, no.
Baby, you need to listen to this episode.
I'm like, listen, why you do that stuff you did? I'm gonna do the answer out you. But nah, okay, but I kind of like how Brittany put a spin on that. I do, for real. It's like, have
Why
you
y'all
ever been?
get us to the level where we gotta be paid?
She's like,
I'm thinking when somebody is hurt,
Mhm.
they want to get back at someone, whether it's a man or a woman.
Mhm.
I'm thinking it just depends on the situation because both individuals can be petty.
Right.
It depends on what it is, and it's how you react when somebody do something to you.
Okay.
Sometimes you can be in your feelings. Sometimes you don't mean it until and it goes right back to being accountable.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you apologize for it afterwards. But I think that can go both ways. Some people can be petty. It's just a level of maturity.
Okay. And I think my thing was, how much energy do you spend on being petty versus letting the situation go?
Okay,
You know,
that's a good question.
that's kind of like I'm glad I kind of came around to that. Like, you know, we spend so much time trying to get back at this person, spend so much time and energy trying to, you know, like put this person's business out, or, you know, you like see some people, I'm a tell all her business, or
You know
I'm
what? I
gonna
can
mess up his
answer
car,
that.
or something like
Listen,
that. How much
I think
energy are you
it
spending?
I think it depends on how, like Teresa said, if you are in your feelings, and sometimes you have enough kind of like emotional maturity to be like, you know what, I'm so peed off right now, but I'm just gonna go and take a walk. I'm gonna get my nail. I'm gonna do something what makes me feel good, right? Or you can sit there and stew in it, and you can be like, this mother so and so and so, he got the nerve, and you start seeing his Jordans and his clothes and stuff that he act like he can, cause I'm fresher, and he going out with the boy. You're like,
And you're like, you know what? Angela Bassett looks so good walking up in that car, that burning car with all that man
and
stuff
so
on it.
you start to kind of revel into like, if he can do it, why I gotta be mature one all the time? Okay, cool. And so you just go into a mode, and I think that can be man and woman. But speaking from a woman, I think sometimes we like, why we always gotta be the one to be the mature one about it. And so maybe we go into the petty mode. But honestly, I think those kind of relationships don't really last. Or you have both of you guys have to grow out of it.
Yeah.
Because petty begets petty. Then you
Yeah.
know with somebody in the hospital, everybody got time for that.
Yeah.
Everybody got time for that.
All
It
right.
comes with maturity.
Yeah.
Tell maturity. Okay. All right. So we got another deep question here. I'm gonna go to this one right here. Okay, we'll go. Yeah. All right. Would you feel confident in marrying a black man in 2020?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so mad she
You said, will you feel comfortable?
Yes. The question is, would you feel confident in marrying a black man in 2020?
Yes. This is Aisha. Yes, definitely yes.
Teresa? What's Teresa? Anybody over there? She done looked all my room. Okay, you gonna answer Teresa or no? Okay.
Come on, please.
I mean, at this point,
Please.
2020 is all a crapshoot, but yes.
Yeah. However, 2020, you all know that there's a lot of things going on with men and women.
Mm-hmm.
It depends what you willing to put up with, because you have some men on the down low. You got to figure this thing out before you get married. You got some people that like threesome. You got to figure that out before you get married. You got some men selfish because they've been hurt. All of this stuff right here needs to come to the table before you get married. It's a lot to be considered before you say I do.
Okay.
It's a lot need to be considered. You can't push stuff under the rug. You can't ignore stuff. If you don't bring it to the table, it's going to come back to haunt you, and you're going to wish you had.
I just have a question, specifically about black men. Is that everything you put? That's what black men are facing in 2020?
Not just men,
Just
women
men
too.
in general.
Men in general. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, women too.
So this is Valerie. Yes, what
Would you be
met-
confident?
Do you
yes,
feel
yeah,
confident
yeah.
marrying a black man in 2020?
Because here's the thing. I'll go with what the question states. I would say any man that me and him have if there's a trust there and there's a bond there, then yeah, I feel, you know, anybody I marry, I feel like I would have that confidence to marry them. I wouldn't say yes, to be honest, but marrying specifically a black man, yes. But I can just leave it at that.
All right.
Ask this other question. Yes,
Why does it have to be a black man?
Well, this is the particular guy
This
who.
is the revolution.
This the woke.
This Nancy Revolution asked
We
these
work
questions.
around
Are you
here.
guys trying to get on issues that black men are facing, or are we talking about men in general?
Well, the
On
question
this
specifically,
This particular
These are specific
person.
questions.
was for
These person-
black. Yeah,
okay.
it was about
this
black
particular
men.
person
Just
wanted-
like how they asked, do they feel like black men and black women, if there's a divide? So like we all kind of said yes, but then we also kind of said yes, we would still feel confident with marrying a black man. Like, so clearly the divide ain't that much.
I think I would want to
Okay.
hear a man's point of view who asked that question. Like, what?
And you will.
Girl, I'll
Can
show
you
you.
let
I'll
me-
show you something after this. Hold on, because-
Oh, okay.
You will.
Okay, the next question. Do you honestly think you are wife material? If so, how so? Who trying to find? Somebody trying to get messed up.
Somebody's
You
trying to get
honestly think you are
Right, are you worthy to be a wife? We gonna be jousted in a minute, y'all. Right?
Why don't y'all ask the question to you who you really want to ask it to?
I know.
No,
right?
this,
But for real, do you think as you are right now?
I'll go
When you say,
ahead.
"Hey, I'm ready to get married,"
That's not like that though. I do that's the
Yeah,
same
as you are right
Have
now.
you ever asked yourself how you are right now?
Are you ready to be married?
For me,
It's somebody like that. Like, I love you. Bam.
it's more than love though. But
Yeah.
yeah, I am.
Okay.
And I'm in my 30s now. I know for sure in my 20s I was not ready to get married. I mean, even later 20s. Like after I hit 30, I know people like, oh, like you gotta be ready. I wasn't ready then. It's just recently I was like, okay, I can do this thing. And here's the thing. I always knew when I was younger, like maybe teenage years, I wanted to be married. Wasn't so sure on kids. I was like, but I know I want to be married because I just wanted my like a best friend. I was like, I'm gonna marry my best friend. We gonna try. It's gonna be dope. This is gonna be dope. I wanted something like my parents, right? Similar. They're very traditional, or whatever. But anyway, I'm just like I knew I wanted that. But even though I knew I wanted that when I was younger, I wasn't ready for marriage until recently. And I say, how do I know? Because my mindset. And I'm not just thinking individually. I'm thinking like partnership. And I would like someone to share that with. And I'm willing to put in the work. I have been in long-term relationships that I'm like, I don't even know if I would marry this person. And then I like got out of it. But it's true. Like sometimes you have to have those self-talks. Look, having self-talks with yourself is the best thing you can do for yourself, men or women.
Yeah.
Right.
And so for me, I feel like knowing that I am open, that I'm willing to compromise, that I'm willing to like not be so selfish how I was in my 20s. Like, I mean, surprised that anybody wanted to date me. It was, but it was the truth. I was very I was focused on my career. I was just kind of doing my own thing, and I was like, well, if you want to date me, da 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 da. And so now I'm just like, well, I could do a partnership. I could do this, and I could do it for a long term. So that's how I know I'm ready.
Anybody else?
Yes, this is Teresa. I am
Okay.
material. Done that, been there, and still is.
Come on, somebody.
Man, because a man is made for a woman and a woman is made for a man. I don't want to date forever.
Right.
I don't want to waste my time on somebody who is not marriage material. Yes, I got out of a marriage, and will I get married again? I will, most definitely. I'm not going to waste my time and give all of my love to somebody who don't think that I'm deserving. So if I'm marriage material, most certainly.
Okay.
Anybody else want to answer
You
that?
snap when you answer the question.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh. This is Aisha? Absolutely not.
That is honest, and I appreciate your honesty.
Am I marriage material right now? Absolutely not. Because I have had those one-on-one conversations with myself.
Right.
And I know that marriage is a partnership. And I know that it is commitment. And I know that it is most importantly compromise. And right now, where I am in my life, I am not ready for compromise. So, no. Right now, at this moment, I am not marriage material.
Okay. Let me see how I can answer this question. I think this is Brittany. My marriage material. I think a woman who is being prepared for marriage is the marriage material that people are. Like if that's your goal and you're working towards it, it's something you are wanting and you are trying to get at. For me personally, I would let me change this question because the marriage material sounds weird for me. I'm like, do you have
that's the
qualities
first
to be?
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
you
change the
gotta
question.
let these questions in a minute.
What I'm
Ask me.
saying
They want to
is-
know.
What I mean is like, because the way I'm going to answer this question is not that. Like, I think if someone if the question is, do you think you are you have qualities for being married? Yes, I do. But do I think that I want to be in a marriage right now?
That's what Cordero said. He read the question and he was like, right now.
Yeah.
As you are.
And you
Yeah,
are.
as I am, if I'm, I would want to marry. If I was a man, I would want to marry myself too.
Look.
But what I'm saying is, personally, for me, so I'm answering this question based off like what I want in my life, and I would say that I don't think marriage is something that is like you know how Valerie was like, you know, you always wanted to be married and you always
Yeah, I knew that. You know how some people like when I was.
I don't think I always like that's not I
Right.
think I think I'm on like a different like path, whatever.
Right.
Well, the thing is,
And
you
you're
are
still fairly young.
though.
Yeah. Well,
You're
that
young.
could be. That could
So, Teresa speaking, enjoy your young life while you can,
Mhm.
because marriage is a different ball game.
be. And that's what I think. I think it's something. The person who wants to be married, right? That's something that they're preparing for and planning for, right? And it's the ball game that they're preparing for. But for me, at least in this moment, I just feel like there are other. Oh, okay. Well, with that, I would say that right now, I'm not in the mindset to get married.
There you go. I mean, you're still young. Enjoy your youth, because marriage is not for kids and it's not to be played with. If you're not ready, don't do it, because it takes a lot of commitment. It takes a strong person, really.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot.
You don't want to waste nobody's time because divorce
And you
is
don't want
expensive.
nobody wasting your time.
Yeah, that's I never mind. I think I'm just saying like because I feel like with it, at least in my life, I feel like there's a different path for me that I'm going on,
And go with your
so-
gut feeling.
and so I don't. Not saying that marriage will never happen, but the path I'm on right now, that's not what I'm thinking about. So that's not what will be in the near, at least that I can see will be in the near future. You know what I mean? So,
All right.
Can I ask this one since we on this topic? I'm gonna get this one out of the way too.
Okay. I feel like we're going to circle with that one. Okay.
All right, so the last question is this: what blueprints do you have of a good marriage? Of what a man should be and what what a woman should be and what a man should be.
I think we grew up seeing our mother and father, but I was
That's Brittany talking.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I forgot. I am Brittany. And yeah, we saw our father and our mother's marriage, but personally, I think that was in a ways a blessing because you got to see the reality of what marriage looks like. Mm-hmm. Like there was no sugarcoating anything, right? But I think I would even hold a higher accountability to marriage more than my parents. I would have to, because I'm spiritual, so I would just say that I think I would have to.
Girl, say it with your chest.
I'm spiritual. Okay,
You spiritual, girl.
I'm Christian. That's right. No, I'm just saying. I think I would have to hold the account. I think marriage is God's thing, right? It's His creation. So He would be the way he has designed it would have to be the way that I would want to walk into a marriage, because I wouldn't want to just go based off what humans have been able to do. I would want to be able to walk in it with a biblical mind, the way I feel like I walk in my life, how I try to do things in my life. I don't always try to go based off what other people around me have done, even if they've done a good job, because I know there are some ups and downs, and we never are going to go the same path. But I do try to, I try to base it off a biblical standpoint. So I think that's the best for me. I think that's the best example.
All right, anybody else got a?
This is Valerie. The first role models that I saw about marriage were my parents. And I think they had a good marriage for them. There were things about it that I used to be like, oh, I don't know, but also they come from a different decade and time and stuff like that. So for them, it worked for them. But I think that's why but I do know what a marriage, like, what the work takes. I mean, I wasn't in it, but I saw it firsthand. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially when you have kids and things like that. Nope. And and as far as like of what a man should be and what a woman should be, I mean, I'm the woman, so listen, you know how they say nobody can do you like you? When you meet me and you have conversations with me, when you talk to me, if I'm what you want as a wife, then that's what it's going to be. I'm not going to change my whole ideology about what life should be. When you get to know me and we talk, we have conversations, just like when I talk to a man and I'm like, okay, yeah, he would be a good provider, You have these conversations. So I don't know if there's a blueprint of like this perfect woman, this perfect man, because I mean, you look at the Bible, they talking about how Eve was of Adam, and right, and she ate that, and they blame. I think we take each other as we are, and then we try to see if that will work. And so I don't think there's a perfect man or perfect woman, but I think for me, if there's certain things that we can come together and we realize that we want to stay together even through all of X, Y, and Z and what life has to offer, then that'll be good for them. I don't have a blueprint of that, of like what woman, like if a man was like, okay, well, as a wife, you need to do X, Y, and Z, I think I would have a problem with that. Even though, because sometimes I feel like as a girlfriend, I just fall into certain roles. Like, oh, I call you, hey, how's your day going? But you don't need to tell me that I need to wake you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing that.
Right.
But it's just certain roles that I think we naturally just kind of fall into. Cordero, go ahead.
I just got something to say.
I don't know why, because it's a woman's panel.
No, I just think this question could go, because I'm going to pose this question to the men as well. This is something I'm going to do. My best example of a marriage is my grandparents, for one. And it was more so what a woman should be and what a man should be. Just kind of where I got this from. I took a picture of my granddad fixing the car one time, and my grandmother was standing over him holding the light. And I took that picture because I was like, that's as far as I think what what men want versus what boys want.
Even though this is a woman's panel.
Well, I'm just saying this is what I think. If we want to provide an example of marriages, I just need you to hold the light for me. If I can if I can grasp that, I don't need you to do the work. I just need you to hold the light for me. And so I took a picture of that because that was my example of what a marriage. They don't have all the bullshit, all the who's interfering with what, who said what. They so solid, and I just like, dang, that picture meant so much to me. It was just like, he's fixing the car and she's just holding the light. That's all I need. So.
Gotcha. That's good. This is Teresa. Like Valerie and Brittany said, even Cordero said, our parents were our blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we saw growing up. Whether they were just holding the light or whether they had dinner prepared when the man got home. Because that's what we saw, and that's how I grew up. My parents were married 63 years before my dad passed in 2010. And the blueprint that they put out for us is like, okay, we know that they have ups and downs, but with me being the youngest out of 8 children, of course things were smooth sailing by the time I came along. Because they already went through all of the drama. They already went through the hardship. Because way back when, men and women had each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, women used to stay in a marriage even when the men was beating them down. You know we ain't doing that right now. We are not doing that. However, but the blueprint that we saw when we were growing up is the woman kept the house, the man went out to work. And then it got to the point where women start working and they start bringing in more money than the men did. And it caused friction in the family. Because now the men felt like he wasn't doing his part. And it gave him time to go out and do what he wanted to do. Because the woman felt like, oh, I want my degree. I want to be the one who's the breadwinner. And it really kind of messed things up for the whole household. Believe it or not, it really did. Because women, I know it sounds antiquated that women place was to be like in the house to take care of the children. That is so far-fetched now than when it was when we were growing up. Because that's what my mother did. She didn't get a job actually until my dad got sick, but my dad was the breadwinner. He was the one that went out and did everything. He made sure that the car was running. He made sure that the bills were paid. He made sure that everything on the outside was done by him and the boys. In the inside, it was for the women to take care of. I know women don't do that now, but that was our blueprint. Now, that a part of that is going back to the first question that we were saying about being submissive. Okay, I don't want to be the one to make the most in my family. If my husband want to do it, you go for it. But my place is to make sure that the house is calm when you get home. Okay, and that's the direction I want my children to see. This is what you need to do. You don't need to work as hard as your man. Let him do that. He really is supposed to be taking care of you anyway. He asked you to marry him. Does that make sense? Okay, y'all looking at me.
I nodded, yes. So,
But believe it or not, I mean,
had something to say, though.
Did you want to go?
I mean, honestly, my only thing, and again, like I said, I'm not ready for any kind of marriage of any sort. But if I was gonna like go that route, my thing is, nobody is perfect. But as long as we're both trying to support each other and make each other better, I can roll with you. And you need to be able to provide what it is that you require. Because I can provide what it is that I require. And I totally get, especially now, because we did have a very traditional way of just life, just family life, especially black family life. But now it's getting to a point where it's not like, you know, the dad's going to go out, he's going to make all the money, and the mom's going to stay home because we can't.
Right.
Because we can't afford
no,
that
what
anymore.
I was saying was that's how
So-
it was way back when.
Right. So now we have to have, you know, a conversation where it's like, you know, babe, listen, just because I'm going out and I'm making money, that doesn't make you any less of a man. You know, that doesn't mean that you're providing any less. That just means that it's you and me in this house, and we have 2 kids, and the only way that we can afford to keep on this lifestyle and keep feeding our kids is if I go to work too. And I respect you enough, and I love our family enough that if I'm able to work, I'm going to do that. So now we have it where we did have a very kind of traditional thing that worked because everybody kind of knew their role and everybody stayed in their lanes. And now capitalism, and nobody can really afford to just like have one person who's working. So when women did kind of go into the workforce, you know, a lot of guys kind of did feel like, well, you know, what is my role now? What is it that I'm supposed to do? Because the breadwinner was always the man. And now we have these women who are also making money. So I feel like, again, it just needs to be kind of like a conversation where it's like, you know, baby, you are still the man. You are still the head of this household. You know, like that's not taking anything from you because you are still providing. But if we're going to have a partnership, you know, everything's not always going to be 50-50, you know, where I fall, you're supposed to pick me up. And where you fall, I'm supposed to pick you up. And as long as we have that understanding, then I think we're good. Because marriage is supposed to be a partnership.
But please believe it's not talked out like that.
No. I know it's not. Which is, again, well, I'm not ready for marriage. But in a perfect world, if I was, then that would have to be the kind of conversation that, you know, if I was marrying somebody who was really traditional and they just were like, listen, baby, I don't want for you to work. I don't want to work either, sir.
Right.
You think I want to be getting up, going to this job? I don't even like these people. Like, but you know, we don't always get to do what we want to do sometimes, but we always get to do what we have to do. So if it's something where it's just like, listen, we both got to work. Now, if I marry a millionaire, I'd never work again. I wish you would catch me. But I mean, I think that a lot of the things with marriage does come down to communication. And if you guys aren't on the same page and you can't get on the same page, that's kind of like where the friction, you know, starts to happen. And it don't even have to necessarily be about work. Honestly, it could be about anything. If you guys are not on the same page about what school the kid's going to go to. You know, like, I want them to go to this traditional school. They're going to learn all of this stuff, you know, and it's going to get them ready for college. And, you know, you as a mom are like, okay, I get that, but we have this son right here, and he's a musical prodigy. We need to put him in a school where he'll be able to explore that and really do something with that, because he actually can do something with that. I mean, that's got to be a communication, because you know, he might be like, nah, he needs to go to school where he's going to learn what he needs to learn so that he can make it through this life. And you're like, I mean, but this is his passion. So then that right there is a whole conversation, because now you're talking about the future of your kid. And if you can't get on the same page, it's forever going to be friction. So communication really, I think, is the key to pretty much any relationship, whether it be marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, friendships. Communications, I think, is the key to all of that. That's just me.
It definitely is. However, a lot of things are not discussed before marriage, like what church are we going to, or how we're going to allocate our income. We're going to have separate incomes, or we're going to have joint incomes. All of those things need to be tabled before you say I do.
This is Valerie. So I'm just gonna just get, because you know you can break this down on several different topics. I'm just gonna go strictly for the work. Listen, do I don't want to work as hard? Of course not. But here's the thing with me. Me personally, I don't know what kind of life I would have just sitting at home. Let me tell you, you can have vacation or just be with the kids. You're gonna drive yourself crazy if you don't have no outlet to go and explore different things. For me, I would go stir crazy if all I have to talk to is kids all day long. I done went to college. I'm not trying to say no, but I done went to college.
You don't want to hear about Paw Patrol?
Baby Shark can die. Let me tell you. I done went to college. I done went and got a degree. I done held titles. Done did vice presidents. Like, you're going to have to put me, I'm not going to be able to do that all day. So I would have to have a passion. Now that's me. Now speaking of something that I know that I'm going to speak through that I know, when you decide to be a stay-at-home mom, if that's what you want to do, sure, fine and dandy. But you're going to need some kind of outlet. And maybe it's not making money, but I feel like, why not? Because, man, I ain't saying you got to go clock in somewhere, but you need to have something that's just for you. Because I think what happens is your children do get older and they grow. And if you don't have girls' night, and sometimes they get old too, if you don't have things that's just for you, that makes you feel like your own special identity, you're going to lose yourself, and you're going to realize that now they got this whole thing that, I got the empty nest syndrome, and I'm going to turn this into my knitting room. I don't want to be knitting at 83. I'm just saying. So for me, I'm going to need something.
What's wrong
and, with girl, baby, I like to travel personally. But anyway, I'm going to need something. And so I feel like I want to speak on to what Aisha said when she was like, these days you can't do it. So let's say I get someone that's like we middle class. We know in these societies that you can lose your job at the drop of a dime. And so I just feel like I personally have this thing is like, I want to be able to help out as a helpmate. That's what I want to do. If you want to make $1 billion, baby, look, I need to be doing something. And I think a lot of times that because I personally know I don't want like a buku of kids, I think sometimes like back in the day, it's like, well, you're out there and you're having kids, so it's okay if you be at home. I don't really know no man. I have yet to meet him. Maybe he out there. If he listening, let me know. I don't know no man that's willing to go work, and it's just you. And he's like, what am I paying for? Besides the house and car, like what? And you paying, getting dinner. What you doing for the rest of the hours of your day, ma'am? What are you doing? Have you, like, it's only so many, fall coming, I got to do the decor, I'm changing. I literally, I would lose my mind. And
You
so
could find a habit, you could find classes to teach, not so much.
Right, but I'm saying if I'm teaching something, why I can't make money from it? Well, and I'm not saying I got to be. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to say I want to work all day. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But it's things that I can do that whether my husband go down to wherever he go to, or the kids are done and they in they play group. Because I do know once you put them kids in ballet and tap dance and mathematics and you ripping and running, and you know what, you get home and you so tired and you ain't really did nothing for yourself. And I know that coming from a mother who stayed home with 4 kids, and she got older. Yes, Lord. And she got older. It was like you kind of look for other outlets. And I think that seeing that firsthand, knowing that, I realized what it was. But there's so much technology now that I don't know. You see so many people, they on the phone. Our mind capacity right now, I don't think we could just do one thing. In a simpler time, I think it worked. We didn't have television and this and that. All these little bright lights. I mean, you can't be on the phone. You bicycling, you texting, and you.
We all have ADHD.
And so what I'm trying to say is, it's like for me, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I have to be the breadwinner, but what I'm saying is, I just need somebody. Let me have some kind of outlet where I can go take some pottery classes or something.
And you can, if you have that time in the
What
day,
was
you
the
can.
question?
But we were talking about the blueprint.
The blueprint.
No, just said. Well, I think we all chimed in, and I forgot the question. But this is about blueprints.
Yeah, the
What
blueprint.
is the blueprint?
Repeat
What
the
is the
question.
blueprint that you have for a good marriage?
Oh, okay.
Of what a woman should be.
Well, we've been
And
out
what a
there
man
talking.
should
We
be.
started talking
Man
about
should
back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Because
this,
our blueprints
for
are our
2020, that might not
parents.
work.
That's
Mhm.
what we saw growing up. Is our parents. However, we can't be like them these days, though.
All right, we're actually coming towards the end. I do have some more questions, but I'm not going to read those.
Okay, so this fellow wrote in, why y'all think we, don't you just love the way he talk? Why y'all think we mind readers? Why don't y'all just say what's on your chest? Well,
I'm going to fill my glass up.
I'll go ahead and say something. This is Valerie. I don't think we think you guys are mind readers. I think sometimes we, especially if we have the same issue all the time with you, I feel like if, I'm just going to give an example. If
Oh my goodness.
you know that I like when you first come into the house, take your shoes off. And then when I come and look at you, when I look you up and down and I walk away, and you standing right at the door with your shoes, walking shoes on, and then I get down on the floor and I start scrubbing the pants because you done had your shoes on, and now I got a stain in my carpet, and you don't know why I got an attitude, and you talking about what we gonna eat, and I'm like, I don't know.
What we gonna eat?
Listen, I'm just saying, no, it's just,
So write that out.
Listen.
Write out your book.
I was gonna say, I feel like that happened.
Yeah.
That's a
no,
real
but
story.
that actually hasn't happened, but
I'm going
but
to take my shoes off outside from now on.
you came in with your shoes on. But anyway, I digress. No, what I'm saying is, when we talk to you guys, we come most times. I would say, I would like to think, this is general. I would like to think most women can come to a man and have a conversation like, babe, X, Y, and Z. So now that we've had this, we going through the same thing over and over. You like, what's wrong with you? It's like, I told you what was wrong with me. Why don't you understand that we already had this conversation? I do not want to be your mother. I don't want to keep talking to you. Because I feel like what we feel like if you were listening to the first 2 times, the third time wouldn't even be no issue.
Wait, we can't talk like that when we talk to guys.
Why?
We
Why?
can't do it. We can't
Why we
do
can't?
it. It's all about communicating
tone?
and how
But
you
that's
bring
what-
it.
but that's what I'm
it's the
saying.
tone. That's why men said black women have an attitude.
I don't care why black men
There we go.
Because
That's
let me
the
tell
other
you.
reason. Right
Because
there.
let me
It's the delivery.
Because let me tell you,
go.
let me tell you though, honestly, the first, I'm not saying you coming off the first time like this, but by the third time, yeah, I got an attitude. I do. I'm just gonna be honest. The first time, it's like, babe, you know, take your shoes off when you first come in. You gonna check in.
But the
blah,
question
blah.
is-
Second, no. So I'm getting. So why mind readers? That's my whole point. I'm going off an example of I done told you something or I asked you something not to do it and you do it anyway, and then you're wondering why I have an attitude. So sometimes we're not expressing that because it's like we don't need you to be mind readers. We just need you to remember the conversation that you've had with us.
Okay, question.
Not a child.
This is just no.
She
Let-
said
let-
it's an issue.
This is just a dialogue. That have to be something communication. Number one, it have to be something communicated with your spouse. It's something you all have to talk about and say, look, are we going to take our shoes off when we come in, or when our guests come over? Are we going to have them take our shoes off?
Okay, what did he say
You
here?
can't just make the decision because he's going to say it's his house too. So no, he is.
If that's your
he's-
husband, yes.
If that's your husband, that's just as much his house as it is yours. It
I'm
has
not
to be
disagreeing
something discussed to say, okay, baby, we got new carpet. Remember the last time we had
So you gotta
carpet
placate
in?
him.
No, that's not playing a game. That's
No, I said you
realistic.
gotta placate him. You gotta talk to him like he docile.
If no, it's communication. It's really communication. You have to come to an agreement. Okay, babe, what we decide since we got the carpet done, we decide we're gonna take our shoes off when we get to the door. Are we gonna have our guests take our shoes off, or is this a one-time thing? Men think differently from women for real. They really do.
True.
But I'm not saying you're gonna baby cake him and say, "Oh, baby, take your shoes off every time." Baby, take your shoes off. If he's under the impression that this is my house and I don't want to take my shoes off, If the carpet need to be replaced, I'm going to be the one to replace it, so I don't care. Let it rip. You have to understand your man. He have to understand you. It have to be something discussed and settled before you get to a point where you're making an argument about it.
Yeah.
Is it really enough to make an argument about?
You at each other's throat for no reason.
For no reason. And believe it or not, it's not that big of a deal. When the carpet get messed up, say, babe, I need $4,000 so we can replace this carpet.
They hit him in the pocket
Because
twice, he
you
can be through.
refuse to take
Yeah.
your shoes off, and you know Georgia have clay. So you either going to do the $4,000 every 6 months, or you're going to take your shoes off like we discussed 6 months ago, and we decide we're going to take our shoes off in the garage. We're not going. Carpet do wear down faster with shoes. I've seen it happen. But it have to be something discussed, understood, and settled before you decide, oh, honey, you're going to take your shoes off because we already had this conversation 4 times.
Okay,
That's
I'm
not
giving
really
it
how
to you
you
the way
handle
I'm just giving it to you in that way, like in a Valerieism way, if you want to call it. But I'm not coming at you like that. The first time I'm having a conversation with you is like, I don't know, I'll be honest with you, maybe because I ain't never lived with no man, I ain't never said what we gonna do. So maybe if I live with a man, I'll say, hey, are we gonna, what the hell does that got to do with nothing?
It's different. Come on.
It's totally
That's
different.
true. Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah, that's
Like,
different.
means nothing. So maybe we would
Sorry,
get
guys,
around
it's
and say something like, okay, let's get an understanding. But have you ever been with a man that had to tell you something over and over?
Can I ask a question? Okay,
Women see things differently, though.
Let me
No,
say this.
but see,
No, okay.
No, we do.
Tap in. Okay. I think what you're talking about is something that doesn't involve the man's point of view so much. It's like, this is a standard I have for myself, and then I want you to follow
wait
it.
a minute. Granted, the situation. So let's take the scenario out. The scenario I was using was someone's coming into your house, and I'm saying, let's say y'all live together, don't live together, whatever the case may be. Let's say y'all are separate, okay? And it could be the same for a woman. You could tell a woman the same thing. I would have the same reaction with anybody who I'm like, come on. A woman gonna be like, oh girl, you want me to take my shoes off, didn't you? They gonna.
So let me say this then. The point I'm trying to make is that your thing, it doesn't involve anybody else, because that is a standard you have. Like, that's a standard you
That
have.
was just an example.
But it's a standard you have for your particular house, in your house. This house is not with a man. This is your house, and you help. Like, okay, if we're talking about standards, like, this is the kind of relationship that I have with you, and I want you to follow through on it with that situation. So I'm mad that you don't remember that this is the standard I want you to hold up to. But what she's talking about is like, okay, you can't, if you're trying to compromise with people, then that's not a healthy scenario.
Okay,
You
let me scratch the whole carpet thing, man. Let's say you need to be picked up at work. You get off at 5:30. You gotta be out by 5:30. They gonna lock the doors. And
And it's the same time every day.
Every day. You can't get together. Every day you supposed to get off at 5:30. You have to be out by 5:30. Okay.
You gonna come to him with that same attitude though? Like, she trying to tell you that's not how you be mature, right?
Maybe not.
But
But
I
you
was
have
trying
to.
Well, I do get that. That's not the way to be mature. But I think also sometimes guys don't, because again, guys don't think like we do, because they don't have the kind of experiences that we do. So some things, it's like, okay, I done told you this like 30 times. I shouldn't have to tell you again. And it's like, they're like, why you making such a big deal out of it? Because I already told you like 30 times. Like, but other times to them, they're just kind of like, oh, I'm so, like, if they're really apologetic about it, if they really did just forget, because again, men go through stuff all the time that I will never get, I will never understand it, because I'm not a man.
Listen.
So if you come to me and you're really actually sorry about it, then I'm not going to be like, well, you should already know. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. And I'm not saying that's what I'm giving you, but what I'm saying is I'm going to the exact question when he's saying why we always got an attitude, and I'm giving you the fact that most times what he's talking about, when he's just looking at the rest of the question he's talking about, it's some conflict there. And it's probably because somebody has gotten to a fed up point where maybe they have communicated with you, and it's like, you ain't listening. So it's like, so if I'm, women, what we do, we'll quit to give a silent treatment. So if we're giving a silent treatment, if we done had a talk, communication, whatever you want to talk, and let's say I'm not talking at you like I just did. You know, I was trying to be funny, but that has happened because I don't play by my carpet. But anyway, I'm just keeping it real. But if we had a conversation like let's say we did what Teresa did, we sat down and we like, babe, this is our new home, and so what would you like to do? Would we like to have our shoes on or shoes off? Because let's do it together. And he's like, yeah, babe, let's, take the shoes off because I don't want to, stand the carpet and everything, you right. Okay, cool. And then you come in anyway, day in and day out, still with the carpet. And I'm supposed to like, well, that's a man. And, it's just
Well, no, but I think that she's right. That's where accountability comes in, where she's like,
She
okay,
said,
it's
"You
going to be
gotta pay for it."
$4,000 to fix this carpet.
You gotta pay
Have
for
fun
it.
with that,
And
babe.
look, and you know what? Why are you so passive aggressive, man? You trip. They come to something. So like, if
You're talking about an immature man.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you gotta pay for it, you gotta pay
If you
for it.
guys have made a decision and he's not following through,
Yeah.
well,
So
that's
in other
like,
words, the conversation didn't go nowhere.
yeah, that's not something he wanted
The
anyway.
That's not okay. So what if you have a
That would
conversation
be
with somebody?
Something
Okay,
agreed
ladies,
upon.
let's say you have a conversation with a man that's not going anywhere,
Mm-hmm. We
and
probably
then
not going nowhere.
you be quiet, and he's like, why you mad?
Then I'll say this: you need to exit that situation.
Yeah, then we're not going nowhere. Because if you're not, I feel like if I have to tell you something over and over, that means you're not listening. If you're not listening, you don't care. So why am I here? If you don't care, why do I?
But
Okay, so the question is, are you then being petty? Because
When
you're
you-
giving up on the question, or you're going to deal with it a different way?
Say it one more time.
Are you being petty because you just say, okay, I'm just tired of it. I'm just not going to discuss it anymore. Or are you going to deal
You're not
with
gonna
it a
discuss
different
what?
way?
No, I mean with me, I've never had nobody be that disrespectful. Cause I feel like when you listen to me, like people slip up like, dang, you want me to take? I have people catch their own stuff. So I'm just giving you the rough around the edges. But I've had people say, oh dang, the carpet, and so they'll go do it themselves. Or I had somebody do whatever, and they're like, dang, and then they'll go clean it. I don't have to do that often. That's a rarity for me. So I don't have to get into this mode, because then I'm just like, I get into a thing where I do get quiet. That's my little thing. Like, I'll get quiet and I have to wait till I come back where we can have a conversation. And then, or I'll be like, me, I'm a resolver. So it's like, you know what? I'm quiet because you keep coming in with the shoes and it's not it stays on the carpet.
Okay,
I don't
if
know
you
what
got
we're
a
gonna do.
man that's really into you, really paying attention, he would notice stuff like that. I mean, it's just like when I came in, I see shoes at the door. Common sense tell me she
But you
takes
say
her
guys
shoes
don't
off
say
at the
that.
door. Or a lot of people, I go to people's house, they have this basket with footies in it. And you're like, damn, I forgot I'm over at so-and-so house. I got to take my shoes off. I mean, I want to do it, but because of the respect of their home, I have to do it because that's their place. I can't go in and be disrespectful. They won't feel, or our chemistry just won't work. You don't go in somebody's house and do what you want to do. That's not
Okay, I
how
have
it
a
works.
question that is a serious question. So when you are living, because like I said, I never lived with a guy. So when you are living with a guy and there's y'all have communicated, like, I like this way, and he says, okay, I agree. And maybe he just said it to, make you feel better, but he really don't feel, he don't care if he got his shoes on top of the stove. He don't care. What do you do then? Because you know what, you don't want to be disrespectful because this is y'all place together. What do you do then?
Actually, that have happened to me before.
That's what I'm asking. I'm
When we
curious.
got into the house, of course, everything looked new. It was an older home, but they may have changed the carpet right before they decided to sell.
Mm-hmm.
We have clay in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
The boys used to play basketball, running up the steps.
Oh,
Clay marks on the step. At one point, I would clean the house on a regular because I'm that person.
mm-hmm.
Well, all of these steps, how he ran up steps with his tennis shoes on, left all these marks on the steps.
Okay.
Of course, my first instinct is to get upset. Well, I started scrubbing for a while, and I was like, wait, I already had this conversation. Don't wear your tennis shoes on the playground and then come inside and run up steps. So after the third step, I realized, wait, didn't I have this conversation? I'll let your daddy do it. Okay. He cleaned the carpet. While he cleaned the carpet, he fussing the entire time.
Right? But we talked about this.
I didn't have no argument because you know what? I'm not argumentative like that. I just say, He'll notice it when he go upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
When he went upstairs, he goes, well, what happened to the carpet? So-and-so ran up the carpet, up the stairs with the shoes on. But I thought you tell the kids. I did. It went in one ear and went out the other. So carpet need to be clean. You clean it. It didn't come clean. What do we have to do? Get more carpet. But I already had this conversation. Did I get upset? Nope. What'd you do? Turn it over because I told you that the kids need to start taking their shoes off when they come in the house.
Was it a decision y'all made together?
Yeah. The carpet was clean. The carpet was new. It was practically an off-white. Okay? Kids ran in the house. Spirit of the moment. Ran upstairs. I was like, did he just... I left it alone. Because you can't keep gnawing at the same thing. You gotta know when to say when. The thing is, when you already talked about it, you need to know when to back up and let it go.
Right.
Let it go.
Go ahead, Cordero.
All right, so Valerie, I feel like you do know how to deal with the situation because you dealt with it with me. Even though you say we weren't in a relationship or anything like that, that's understandable. But your big thing when we said together was the dogs being in the kitchen, right? And to me, I didn't care, but I know that you cared. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna try to keep the dogs out of the kitchen and things like that. Hold on, for real, this is serious. So
I know it's serious. Who
but
puts
even
dogs in the kitchen?
even though Valerie wasn't always around, I was still trying to make it a habit to keep dogs in the kitchen. Now, there have been times when they ran to the kitchen and she seen them run to the kitchen. She just kind of looked at me like, and I was like, hey, get out the kitchen. But I think that's what. But you dealt with it in a way to where
I'm gonna give y'all example.
Let me finish.
Okay.
You dealt with it in a way to where you didn't come at me doing wrong. You didn't get loud with me. You didn't get disrespectful. After a while, even when I would lock the gate and you be pissed off, you had me so shook to one time you called my phone, dog, and I jumped up, almost broke my neck trying to unlock the gate. You know, like she said, sometimes either we absent-minded or we forget, but once again, you never came at me disrespectful. You might have had an attitude about it, but you never raised your voice at me. You just said,
Come on, confrontational. I don't know why.
Right, but you know how to do it.
Daddy
That's
up
what I'm
there
saying.
beat me in.
But you knew.
Right, but
So she wasn't expecting for you to be a mind reader because you already
right.
knew.
Hold on. Let me finish. The thing is, she knew how to deal with it. She didn't raise her voice at me. She didn't come to me wrong. She didn't cuss at me or nothing like that. And even to this day, if I cook with Valerie, I clean the kitchen up first, and I don't let the dogs in the kitchen when I'm cooking for her.
Aww.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know how to deal with the situation.
Don't
You know how
belong in the
to.
kitchen.
That's what kind of confused me when you say that. It's like you know how to deal with it. You dealt with it.
No,
with me.
I
'Cause my
don't
dogs
know
are
why y'all
important.
confused about it. It was a scenario.
Right, but I'm saying like you know how
So
to.
you
You
don't have to be-
know how to deal with that though.
Right. I
Okay,
didn't
but
say
the
I
question
did.
was, why do we
That's
act
what I
like
did.
y'all are mind
But
readers?
I think what Teresa
That was
was saying
I was going to the question.
But
I
I
was,
think what Teresa's point was, she was saying was, there's no point in you getting loud, raising your voice, coming in in a wrong type of tone, because you never came in with that tone. Even when they snuck in the kitchen, and I wasn't around.
I forgot. I did live with you, but see, I guess I was thinking about like in a man. It's like he's right. When we did live together, we did have like conversation, and it was real. Like, look, this is my space, that's your space, dogs. Because I'm not a big pet person, and his dogs are very like active.
Yeah,
so I
and
was
big,
like,
and
yeah,
big
and
they're
they
puppies.
just,
and they are
so
not.
I had already told him like, da 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 da, but he right. I'm just like, look, can't nobody live where you just like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? So I ain't nobody mama. So like once I say my piece, I do just let it go because it's whatever. But I'm just going to that question of why y'all mad. It's like we ain't mind readers. We not expecting you to be mind readers. But what did Cordero say? Oh, I remember that we had this conversation and she don't like it. So let me try to make an effort. That's what I was saying. That's why we probably get fed up. I'm just speaking for that question. We probably get better because it's like,
You don't even
I
make
don't
the
want to keep
effort.
saying it. Yeah, you ain't even putting the effort. You just do what you want to do. It's like, so no, yeah, I got an attitude. And I'm just going to keep saying to myself.
So to that person who asked the question, perhaps you should, whoever you're talking to, have a communication where you can learn why that person is upset or something like that. Or like you should deal with it personally because there's different. So you gave your scenario, she has her scenario, and it worked for both of them, right? So that means that there's different ways to deal with something.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
so you have to figure out what's the best way to communicate with that person. And if they are being silent and not wanting to talk to you, you just gonna have to find a way where y'all end up communicating better. I think.
That was Brittany.
I agree with Brittany.
Okay, we're gonna do what? Last question.
I
What? What about number 13? That's a good one.
What's 13 about?
Go ahead and ask it.
Okay, yeah. In today's world, and I really want you all to each female
This is
to
our
answer these
last
questions.
question.
Yeah, I really want each female to answer this question.
Why you say female?
Because
Ooh,
you're a woman.
Then why not just say woman?
We doing into that right now.
I'm just okay. Go ahead.
See.
We'll talk about it later. Go ahead.
You understand my meaning,
Ask
though,
a
right?
question.
All right. See, so we do it. Anyway, oh, what are you looking for now? In this world of 2020, what are you looking for now? If you were to get into a relationship, what are you looking for now? What are the defining characteristics in the man that you are looking for now? Don't give me no vague. Give me bullet points.
I'm sorry, this is going on Cordell Tinder profile.
So I'm writing down game, baby. I just know. I need to know.
I'm gonna say these are
I'm
really
lost in this one.
specific questions.
Help me help
They
us
didn't feel
get
that
along.
Gerald, did they?
Look,
I was like,
help me
yeah,
help
man.
us get along. Can you do that? Can you do that? Help me help us.
You want me to go?
Yes, ma'am. I would appreciate it.
Okay, this is Teresa again. It ties in with the first question. You said, what do women really want? You asked the question for, I'm sorry. You asked the question, what are we looking for now? The same thing we were looking for way back when. At the beginning, we want a man to be a man. We want a man that does not lie. Someone who we can depend on. We want someone that's going to step up to the plate. Someone who we can lean on. Someone to love us. Someone to appreciate us. We want somebody to have our back. We want somebody to cuddle with. Someone to love. Someone to talk to. Someone to be a friend.
Right, Miss Diana.
Yeah, we want a friend and a lover. We want it all.
Everything.
Yeah.
And if men were honest with themselves, let me just say this is Valerie. If men were honest with themselves too, what they really want, like a real, whether it's a wife or relationship, whatever, they want the same thing. Don't nobody want to be played.
The same thing. The men
They
want
want
the
the
same
same
thing. A woman
thing.
That's
want.
true.
Want somebody to be honest. Want somebody to
Just
be
to hold the
there.
light is what you said, right?
Just hold if you could hold the light for me.
You want someone you can talk to, someone you can be transparent with. Yep. It's not hard.
Yeah, it is something
it
that
really isn't hard.
something that Valerie had been preaching for years, and I kind of just realized the concept not too long ago was being somebody's friend.
It took him years.
No. She's been preaching for years, but I ain't say it took me years, but just being somebody. It took me years to understand what that really meant to being somebody's friend. Like you had to be able to enjoy somebody's company, and not just going out to dinner, going to the movies,
Right.
not just we gonna go to the reunion together, we gonna go to this event together, but really enjoying somebody's company and be able to laugh with somebody, and just kind of like really building that type of friendship first.
And that requires you spending some time with somebody to see.
Because some people get caught up in the she looks good, or she does this really good, or things like that, or he does this good, or he pays my bills, but he pays your bills, but you feel like crap at the end of the day, or she does this, but she make you feel like you ain't worth nothing at the end of the day. So I think I might be a little tipsy.
What am I looking for now? First of all, friendship, because I think when you in a man, when you build that first, I feel like for me, even when it's like you can fall out of love with somebody. I know people don't think that it's like it's agape love and all this other stuff, but I do feel like you can fall out of different love. You can fall right back into love with somebody. I've been there, but I feel like friendship. And I feel like I say friendship because I feel like friendship has this kind of like respect element to it first.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like if we respect each other, even when we mad or whatever, or we not like the love don't feel the same or something's off. Sometimes you can be in a relationship for a minute and it be off kilter. You like, I love him, but I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of like tired of him or whatever a little bit. And I think that, having the friendship and the respect is key to like wanting to rebuild with it. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times people don't go into it with friendship ideas. They go in and like you said, they look good, or this person can do this for me, or whatever. And then I think I'm looking for somebody who's honest. And I mean, check me too. Some people, listen, I think it's always the way you said it, but having the tech to say, Valerie, I don't like when you did X, Y, Z. I'm very opinionated about certain things. And I'm okay if you come to me and be like, hey, I remember one time Cordero had asked me a situation, was like, what if you your man was wrong and he was wrong in front of a group of people? How would you handle it? And I said, well, I probably wouldn't say that right then, but I would pull him to the side and say, hey, you was messed up for doing that, right? We would have that conversation. I ain't got to blast him out in front of everybody, because that's not what my intent is. And he was like, okay. And so I think when you have that bond with somebody, they know your heart, you know where you're coming from. You're like, I just need you to be honest with me. I was wrong in this, and you were wrong in this, and so we can move forward. And so if we can do that, then that's half the battle right there. I think all the other stuff will come. So that's what I'm looking for.
Just to piggyback on that friendship, it is so crucial in a relationship, because when you've been with someone for a while, you think you with somebody because they make good love. That gets old, and as you get older, that's gonna change. You think you with someone because they look really good, they're real sharp. That gets old because people get older. You have to really, that friendship have to be on point. It have to be serious, because a lot of things change in a relationship, but if you have that friendship, it stands the test of time.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes back to one of the things you said earlier about, and I said, the question was, how do you keep a man? But I think a question could be as to how do you keep a relationship? And the thing is, like I said, that friendship, first of all, like how, after the honeymoon phase is over with, y'all get older, things don't work like they used to.
Things don't work like that.
Can you really stand to be around this person? Me being an introvert, I need my space, but if it's somebody that I know that we have a lot of common interests, or we get along, she can make me laugh, I can make her laugh, and some might just be corny and off kilter. But if she's still laughing, like, I can enjoy that person's company.
Right.
At the end of the day.
That's why it's important, that friendship.
That's why, yeah, exactly.
It's the base.
Exactly. After everything's over, said and done with, can you stand being around this person? When you answer the phone, it's like, oh shit, it was like, hold on, my baby calling. Now that is two different reactions. All shit and my baby calling is two different reactions.
And when you start living with somebody and they have the head scarf on, or the hair start getting gray, or the teeth start falling out, you start getting wrinkles on your face, your friendship is still there, and you still can make me laugh.
She can attest to this. How many times I said that I'd rather catch you in your Walmart, McDonald's uniform than you glammed up in the club somewhere, because I want to see what you look like. I don't need no surprises in the morning.
Yeah.
Anything else anybody else wants to share?
I think that friendship needs to be the foundation of it. I heard a quote somewhere by somebody who said that love is friendship set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think friendship does need to be the foundation. It does need to be the base of your relationship, because like everybody's saying, at the end of the day, people change, but you also need to be able to adapt to that person changing, and they need to be able to adapt to you changing, because none of us stay the same, whether it just be us getting older physically or just the things that we want in life are going to change. So we have to still be able to be like, you know what? I didn't necessarily foresee this coming, and I didn't even think that I was necessarily going to want that. Like, if I get married and then after the kids and stuff are gone out the house, I'm just like, yo, you know what I really have always wanted to do? I want to backpack across Europe. And the kids are gone now. We should do that. And my husband is just like, oh, I never thought that would be something that would be in the cards for us, because, you never said that was something you wanted before.
You can backpack.
Right, but hey.
Leave me out here by myself.
Why not? Let's try it. Or, that might just be something that I'm just saying, but like, you got to be able to roll with me, and I got to be able to roll with you.
What if somebody get in an accident and something really happened?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
because things happen all the time, and the person that you married ends up being in a very different kind of position than they were in when you first married them. And it's like, okay, can I really take care of this person? What happens if they can't go to the bathroom by themselves? What happens if they can't wash, and bathe themselves? What happens if they can't feed themselves. It's one thing to do that all for like a baby. You kind of expect that, but it's something different when it's a grown person and you never thought that this was going to be your responsibility.
Right.
And they obviously don't want to be a burden on you.
Right.
So where does the love go now? How does that work out now where you really have to take care of this person?
And you guys
really,
have a different dynamic.
Yeah, and really have this best person's or this person's
Best interest at heart.
yeah, exactly. So I think that is where the friendship aspect comes in. And I think if you're, friends, that's something that you will always have. I mean, there are people who were together and they're not together anymore, but they're still friends.
Right.
And it's not just like, oh, we're civil. Like, no, they are legit still friends. They still cackle and have all kinds of jokes and stuff or whatever, and family unions and stuff, and they all get together.
Right.
I
that.
don't know
Like,
if I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't know if y'all seen this Black Love. Have y'all ever seen it? Where these two
yeah.
runners were the best of friends because they were in competition all the time. And either right before she got married or right after she got married, the husband had something wrong and he was paralyzed from neck down, and she had to help him through everything. But he started taking therapy and he was coming around slowly. I think he got married and he was in a wheelchair. Did you see that? So it just goes to show that things happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can't just get into it because you say, oh, he is so fine, or she is super fine, or she really turned heads when she walk in the room, because that's going to change. That physique that you're looking at when she's 22, 23 years old, oh, now she is 62 years old. You think she's still
turning
like
her head
that?
in just a different kind of way.
I mean,
she turning her head and
unless
they
she
just
black,
turn
hold up,
away.
because black.
They're like,
crack,
oh, here
hold
she
up.
comes. So you got to look at the friendship. Friendship is so important, and a lot of people do get in a relationship for the relationship to get married because they're looking at what they're looking at now, and all of that stuff changed. So friendship is so important.
Yeah, and if it's just me, the friendship aspect, and you got to be non-judgmental, because I don't judge people. I was not put on this earth to be judging anybody. Everybody makes mistakes. We all fall short of the glory of God. So I'm not really trying to be around somebody who is constantly judging other people, because you are not perfect either. That's why I'm like, if I'm gonna work on me, you're gonna work on you. We're gonna work on this together.
Right.
But if I mess up, I don't need you throwing in my face every 5 seconds how I messed up.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna do that to you, because nobody is perfect.
Right.
Except Cordero, apparently.
Aisha and Teresa talking. Brittany, you have anything you want to conclude? Oh, you want me to cut your name? Okay.
I was just like, what's the question?
I think this is just a general, what's it, roundup if you
What
want to
are
call
you
it?
looking for
now?
Yeah.
Oh, what in a man or just in life? Or what are you talking
In a
about?
man.
Oh, in a man.
Yeah,
But if somebody come to your life right now, like, hey, Brittany, I like you. I want you.
he ain't gonna get it. I told you what she said.
I want you, I get you.
I like you. What we gonna do? What I gotta do?
She was like, you need to go to church with me. I beat you.
What if you want to set on fire? I was playing, nah.
That's how she
You're
said.
looking for somebody to be
I mean,
in a
are you even
relationship.
looking
What
for
are you
anybody?
No, I'm not. That's what
Okay,
that's a hard
if
question.
you were looking
Yeah,
for
if you
I'm
were.
gonna think. I think that person just needs to genuinely be yourself. Like I'm a person that enjoys people's friendship, and I like people for who they are. So I think, but then that's you're like I mean I think that's a hard question for me because I'm not particularly looking, but I would tell you this.
Well, you know it if you saw it.
If somebody comes with me and they are trying to establish a relationship and they have certain issues that I do not want to put in my life, it would. That's when you know, like, oh, I don't really want to continue.
So you had to name
Okay, so
three
you know
things
what
that
you
you
don't
would like.
want.
Yeah.
What are the
Well,
things
that's
that
what-
you're looking for?
I don't think I'm not that picky, at least in this life, to be like, well, I need this is what I want you to do and this is what I want you to don't do. But no, I don't know what I don't want you to do, but maybe I don't know what they should do, because I think at least in this particular stage in my life, I'm more like I'm open to other people and their way of life and their personality, but I just don't want anything to conflict with maybe my personal beliefs or my personal lifestyle. You know what I mean?
So you look for somebody with a similar belief system with you. Is that
Yeah,
a fair
there's like
statement? Okay, that's one.
commonality. Yeah.
Two more.
Yeah, and I think this is something that I know we said before. I think we date today. Dating, you find out more about what you don't want than what you actually want.
Yeah.
You think, oh yeah, I want this glamorous looking girl, but then you gotta
I
work
don't-
on that upkeep.
Like
That's a lot of, do you really want that? And you're like, well, I like this particular dude because he look like this or he got this, but then, you know what I'm saying, is that really what you want? Because that comes with maybe an ego or something like that.
Okay.
So,
Or
would
it's
say
just
this.
like, oh, he don't spend no time with me because he's always in the gym to keep looking like that.
yeah, so you find out
Like-
you find out more about
Okay.
what you don't want in dating than what you actually
Right.
want.
So
Yeah.
let me be more. I had to think about it more genuinely. Okay, I would say this: like living abroad has taught me that I am American. Okay, in the way I do things. Like
Yeah.
I didn't think I was really American, but I'm American in comparison to other people who are not American. So you know, it does help. It's helpful when you like say a joke, right? It is because we're black, we get it. But somebody
Yeah.
else, you're like, oh damn, I gotta teach you about all these things. But it's like, is that really even necessary in a relationship, or is it not? But
Maybe
sometimes, to have that kind of background where you share something like that can help facilitate that relationship. And then sometimes it's not that big of a deal. So I think being a bride has taught me that I'm American and I appreciate American people. Right?
You would need an American man.
No, I'm not saying I need one, but I'm just saying
But it would help.
I genuinely appreciate other Americans because there's that background of we know, like if I say a joke, I'm not gonna be like I'm like if I say black don't crack, and you're like, what does that mean? I'm like, okay, let me just explain this. And then you say the joke and they don't get it or they can't laugh at it, or even if you explain it like then it's like, oh dang, and you would think those things don't matter, but then when you try to relate to somebody, it becomes an issue. So I'm just like, there are some things that people would want once they're like, oh, I really like when somebody can relate to me in this level. So, but yeah, for me, because I'm not looking, that was a hard question.
All right. Well, I want to conclude this women's panel. I want to thank you all for coming. I know it ran later than we wanted to, but I want to thank Aisha for coming out. You can catch her on.
Oh, good Lord. On everything, apparently. So you can catch me on Blue Collar Hustle, which is on Sika TV and YouTube. You can also catch me on Black on Both Sides, which is on Sika TV. You can catch me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I don't know any of those handles. That's really sad because I should know.
Just Google it.
I know, just Google me, right?
I
I think Instagram is blue_Shani, SHANI. And then they actually all should be that.
Yeah, I think they
I
are.
think they're all that.
We put the description of like if you want to
Yes,
follow any of us.
there
can
we
put
go.
all those below.
Yes.
So
Perfect.
thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
I really appreciate it. I want to do this
Thank
again.
you for having me. This was so much
I
fun.
know.
Oh my God, can we do this again?
Yeah, you know.
Poor
We
Cornell, he's
will.
like, no.
Yeah, he loved it. Like being with all women. Like, yeah. Teresa, I
Getting
want
all
to
the
thank
secrets.
What do you think you've learned?
Teresa, I want to thank you.
I've learned a lot.
I
I've
bet.
learned a lot. We've had conversations.
But not so much anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm here to listen. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put him in here too. Teresa, thank you for coming as well. Is there any social medias or anything you want to share with the listeners?
I am not active on social media right now. I am just getting back in the swing of things. I am changing my lifestyle.
Okay.
I am under Teresa Johnson Brown right now on Facebook.
Okay.
And on Instagram, I think it's like Sassy TJ.
Okay, see, let me find her right
Can we,
now.
can we get a snap on that?
I think I missed the
Miss,
joke.
it's all right, girl. You never too late. Miss Brittany, my sister, who is living, that's been going to South Korea to teach again.
Congrats.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Good thing.
So, anything you want to share with the listeners?
Okay,
She's like,
nah.
nah.
I want you to.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
That's
But
honest.
thank you for coming. And of course, the fifth woman here.
Wow, the disrespect is real.
I'm sorry. Whoa! How is that disrespectful?
She said the fifth woman here.
So to be a woman is.
I'm a man, first of all.
He's a man.
For
Oh,
anything else.
okay.
Let's
Listen.
She said the fifth
I
woman.
did say
Uh-huh.
fifth woman, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. Because this is
Because
supposed to
he
be an
has been-
only woman's panel. He was only supposed to be a host of orchestrating conversation, and he just made it away. Excuse me. He was
Answered every question.
Every question he answered.
I did, so yes, you are the fifth woman.
I didn't ever answer
Hey,
every
he
question.
know I means that in love. I don't mean to take nothing from his man. He's not built like that. But honestly, I was like, okay, so when
Now
it
I gotta
comes
put
down,
my deep voice
because
on.
when
Hey.
it comes down to the men panel, I don't want him to be like.
I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you.
Because
Hey,
the
you
point
got
of
all
it is
your-
to get the women to kind of like say what
You're
they're
right.
going to say.
You're right.
But Cordero, thank you for getting these questions, because some of these questions I would have. I mean, we wouldn't know what guys were thinking, and so I do want to thank you for reaching out to your homeboys and your friends and your partners and all those good people, and orchestrating these questions. Even though some of the questions we didn't get to,
Yeah.
you know who you are. Y'all gotta do that.
Somebody's gonna be mad. There's somebody who's listening to
No,
this right
we'll-
now. Like, why didn't they answer my question?
We'll
Because
do
you
it.
know why.
We'll do it. For the questions that were just kind of immature, I'm not gonna elaborate on those, but we'll do it after segment between me and you, and we'll.
Okay. We don't really have to
If
be
you have
having.
men and women in there.
Yeah, we gonna do that. We gonna do that.
Definitely need a. I'm
We gonna need a whole day. We gonna do that in
I know
daytime.
that's gonna have to
Yeah.
be sections.
Yeah, so we'll do them. So what's coming up next is we're gonna do a men's panel. We're gonna let Cordero, and I'll probably reach out to some people too, or whoever, and we'll bring them on and do like a men's panel, and then we'll do a women's and man panel together, and that should be very interesting. So
And listeners, if you all, females especially, have any questions that you all want to ask the men, please comment or ask the questions, or
send
it
them
on
through the
Facebook, yeah.
social media or
Or what have
Anchor,
you.
if anything, YouTube. Send out the questions. We want to thank you guys for listening. We want you to share, comment, and subscribe, and listen to us on your favorite streaming station. This has been the General Conversation Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. Thank you. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.